check, radio check. Work at work is in the AO. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Glad you can join us today for a pretty late and probably pretty short Motorsport Manager stream to cap off the week. Once again, my apologies for the very late start. I think I'll have to say this every time I start for the next few more days, but I still have stuff I need to do off stream that gets priority, so I cannot start as early as I want to, or at least on time as I hope I could. So this will be the normal state of things for the foreseeable future. Hopefully it'll be done soon. I'm not really confident about that. Anyway, because of that, we might be only able to do one leg of 2024 season of our career mode Motorsport Manager today. Hopefully, though, that'll be enough to give us a good start. Anyway, as an update, because we've put most of the parts in spec mode via votes with the other team principals, the GMA decided that it would be a good idea to reset the output of most of the non-spec parts, and now we are currently dealing with some pretty low engine and front wing base stats, which is kind of funny to look at, to be honest. I expect things to be a bit slower, even though we're going to be staying on the same length of track for the time being. I made the mistake of not building a part in the preseason after we finished testing, which means we're kind of late. Next race is going to be in 11 days, and we've still got 7 days to work on that new front wing, unfortunately. At the very least, though, since most of the parts are currently stock, we can probably focus on building up our money for investment into upgrading our buildings. And despite the fact that the stats say we're currently best in championship, I feel like we're gonna crash this car pretty badly, especially since our medium speed corners are still pretty bad. Behind Silva, who is currently the top of the rankings right now, since as you may know, Archer, no, not Archer, who was it again? Firebird. Firebird MRT got moved up to the Asia Pacific Super Cup last season. As you might remember, means that Silva is currently top of the rocks right now. Now, we don't know if we're gonna replicate the luck we had last time when we managed to snag pole position in the Black Sea Opening Cup, but for the time being, we're hoping that we're... Wait, what? What's this about Jacob again? New haircut. Looking sharp with a brand new haircut. Always express myself through my hair, and I just felt like I needed a change. He's only 31? Wow! What the heck happened to you, dude? That is one hell of a trim out. The jury is out, still out on the Estonian story's new look, however, with an online commentator saying that the new dude does nothing for his cheekbones. Yeah, I'll have to agree. Nonetheless, though, that's a boost to our marketability. How small it is, though. No matter how small it is still a bit of a boost up, so that's going to be helpful. Okay, so there's some complaints about our tire heating again. McCabe. Oberhof? No, I don't have that yet. Okay, it's going to be a 30-lap race this time, which means, considering the setup, it's going to be a 2-stop race, I'm afraid. Garuda Racing are currently on top with their engines for this one, unfortunately. Got a lot of work to work. We got a lot of stuff to work with there. Super soft and softs. Yeah, more of the usual. Okay. We're currently okay for tire heating, but we're definitely not on top there. Definitely have to fix that soon. Maybe once we've moved up, since our suppliers are really awful in the European Racing Series, so we really can't do much about that. But once we get more resources up for the development center, maybe you can handle something about that. Okay, start of the new season. Silver Racing is expected to do well, as is the usual. Of course, Esteva is still pretty much on top there, considering that none of our competitors from the last season are still here. And Firebird already moving up in the ranks. Esteva is probably top dog right now. Okay, front wing performance is a bit of a boost up right now. I need to improve the reliability on that thing. Where's the other one? 11 days after the race, dang it. What's the next race after this? Munich is going to be focusing on acceleration, low speed corners, and medium speed corners. Unfortunately, that means we need to get another front wing because both of the gearbox and the suspension systems are currently in stock. So we could probably boost up front wing to good. What do I want? That's only for qualifying. I don't need that. I can take the hit to build time since we're building this for the next race. So I need something that increases performance. This one maybe. That'll cost us around $760 total. $760,000 total, so not a bad trade, I think. I think the engine's down on that, but we're currently best on low speed corners for some reason. Alright. Oh no, Jacob's birthday. We gotta keep his morale up. 100,000 for that. Well, I'll take it. Fell to the Black Sea. Here we go. This is going to be rough. Our drivers are currently 8th best on the grid. But that's not gonna help us much when we got to worry about the staff. Currently 4th best, yes. But the reliability of the pit crew is going to be important, as you can clearly see, we're currently 7th best for that. Surprisingly, Archer BMR is down on the pits here for their pit crew. No pun intended on that one, sorry. I don't know if that's gonna translate pretty badly for the actual race for them. For us, we're still worried about our current pit crew line up here. Numbers don't look too good. And the handling of the pit crew is not exactly a good spot here. Pit stops aren't exactly in the nice lines. They're 11, 10. Alright, where do we go? Ishikawa, Gondor, Tiger. We can probably hope for 4th or above. Question is, how many stops are we going to do here? Because it's a 30 lap race and our car performance is a bit low. At least they're pretty delighted about the car performance for both of their cars, so I think we can go with that. Hopefully get something good out of this. But personally, I think I prefer building up slowly and then getting performance boosts towards the end of the series, so that we end up with more points and probably get a chance of getting into the podium. Okay, setup seems to be okay. Just the understeer maybe, so make it a bit harder. Some slight adjustments to this. keep it in soft. Yes. Super soft, rather. A bit hard. Wait, let's see if this does anything for us. Right, send them out. Same for no. Yeah, keep it on 4 stints. That should be enough to keep them alive. Wow. It looks weird when you change the primary color because it looks redder now instead of brown. Probably that's just because of the distance. I'm not sure I can actually get the more dynamic camera so you can zoom in further. But it could be arranged soon, I feel. How long until they get the right hardware, that is. Alright, we're still using the same 12-minute practice ranges, so we're definitely on crunch here for practice. Let's hope they get setup knowledge fast. And if any complaints show up, they better show up quickly as well. Currently, last 10 minutes. Looks like Bukalova and Vosu have good gear ratio so far, although that's not really translating the setup knowledge as easily as I thought it would be. So Tia, Nuna, and Marsh definitely looking to get better points in the timeouts there. Yep, Silvera and Esteva jumping in. Downforce is bang on for Bukalova. Mila Vosu has just the right arrow setup? I don't feel that's right. Race trim is up to level 1 at least, and by the likes of it, Vosu is going ham on setup knowledge already. Just a little over medium. Vosu still putting up some fast laps, surprisingly. I guess being that everybody's now on tractors, he's making use of his driving skills to get ahead, but Alex Mitsilvera doesn't think that's a good idea, and now she's jumped over, just 0.04 ahead, 0.4 the 0.04 of a second ahead of Vosu on that first turn. Right, we're now halfway through practice, and Vosu is still second medium. I think it's a good time to... Wait, no, they're gonna stack up on repairs, but that's not a problem much. Right? Alright, they're still going to go ham for this one. Vosu once again jumping up on fastest lap, as Silvera and Esteva jumped in for a in-lap. Now we're at race trim level 2. I'd love it if we get to level 3 fast enough. We still got 5 minutes to go though, but both of our drivers are currently in their in-laps, so we'll see how bad things are on the road once we're done here. With Bukalova dropping in the standings, unfortunately. But I guess that's because she's using softs for this one. Good downforce. Everything else, though, is pretty nice, so there's just a slight difference here. Let's see the downforce actually change. Do we really need to adjust his downforce? Because I feel like he's doing pretty decently right now. I think I'll just send him out. Using the same setup. Bukalova, though, might... Ooh, Bukalova also has decent setups here right now. 50.3, 25.7 on downforce. Understeer is excellent. It's just the acceleration that needs a little bit of fixing, maybe. Okay, let's see if we can change things up here. 5 seconds just to adjust the gearing. We'll see if it changes anything there. as Vosu is now heading up with his super softs, and Bukolova is also leaving with her softs. We've only got 4 minutes left in practice. Maybe we can get that racing trim up to level 3. Well, Perez is is going to rely on Bukalova's setup knowledge to get us through the race. Hopefully it'll be... Who's this new driver? Hopefully it'll be enough to keep us up on top, but we need to be better with pit stops, though. That's going to be the real deal breaker in this race. Gear ratios are really really happy with the gear ratios. I don't like the sound of that. That usually means there's still a lot more that needs fixing. Alright, race trim is now up to level 3, but unfortunately, I don't think we've managed to do anything with the, with everything else. Ooh! Oh, Bukalo was now ahead on setup knowledge. That's a bit of a change. Now, last 30 seconds, unfortunately, Wasu didn't jump high enough, which means we did not fix him properly. Practice session is now over. Wasu closing in the race, but Bukalova's still down. Ooh! Ramsey out of nowhere. Not exactly a good sign for the race right now, but I think there's still a chance we can probably get back at it. Same line about Watson and her fashion sense. There's one of the newer drivers, Takabayashi, in 19. We were never expecting Takabayashi to be near the front, but he really struggled out there. Unfortunately, Dragon Racing Team still having issues with their back end. It's already 2024. I guess they haven't been able to invest much because they haven't gotten a lot of money. Igor Anza laying it a little too thick for our team. Pretty lame practice session. Not too bad, personally, but I think he has a point. Alright, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it, shall we? 4th or above. That's the best we're looking for right now, at least for investment money. So we can get nurse and race trim. Should be okay. And for Perez, quick fixes and race trim should be fine. We're gonna need her to use her super softs again. We're gonna need her to use softs. Wait. Right, setup is... So it's probably something about... Do I want to sacrifice the speed balance for better handling? Or do I want to set them up a bit more? Hang on. I mean, speed balance is currently 5663. Can probably use this. Just speed balance should be... Shorter gear ratios is for acceleration. The arrows are currently decent, so it's probably just tire camber, maybe? And... this is a bit tricky, because we got pretty decent setups for both of these. But I do want better handling, since that's what's of primary concern here, alongside the engine power. Just literally just a hair on handling adjusts it to excellent. I need to find a spot where I can get the speed balance back up there. Okay, that should be enough. A slight adjustment to tire balance. Right? You know what? Let's stick to the 94% setup, because that's a bit faster. Alright, and then bring it back to bring it back to softs. Fuel option, 24 laps, got you. Then hang on, the setup on handling for Rez's car is 50.3, 25.7. Now, the question is, can we do that on our own side? And for handling, 50 and 56. Does it say 50 and 56? It's no 50 and 63 on that one. 63. No, unfortunately, if we push that a little further, that eats it up. Let's keep it at as is. Maybe if we just use the current setup, it'll be okay. If push comes to shove, I'll just shove this setup. I'll just shove this trial run and restart from the top. Keep things at neutral, so we don't want to burn up too early. Okay, Perez is at 11th, so she's going to be the endurance driver. Vosu, who I'm still having a lot of trouble recognizing, is at 14th. Perez is at 11th. That hairstyle definitely doesn't fit you, buddy. Now, here's hoping we'll get something good out of this. Crossing fingers here. It's gonna be a two-lap race, or a two-stop race, rather. Ooh, good acceleration there for Vosu early on. That's not gonna help him get through, as there's a lot of traffic in this area. Perez, meanwhile, keeping her 11th place up. Not exactly getting left behind, but definitely not gripping acceleration either. Unfortunately, Esteban jumps ahead of her, making use of that powerful engine. Bosu having trouble with Harmbald and Vidal in the back there. As we now approach the home corner of a rather quick race. Unfortunately, Hornblood got over Vosu now, and he's now down to 16th, as even Vidal jumped over him. Starting up lap 2 here, and our drivers are still in the back. Way in the back at this point, as is the usual. Don't think we're going to be starting the season on a good note, and looks like Vosu is now down in 18th with Sign Hornblood over there, and whoa! Parts conditions not exactly too good, sir. Let's not push our cars a little too far, shall we? Tire wear getting really bad for us as we now start lap 3. Now Perez and Sa are just cut in half. Perez and Voisu are just cut in half by Sa there. Tire wear starting to really be an issue already as we just start lap 4. Things don't look too hot up front too. Bilyeu, Silvera, Fandi, and alte are already having problems with their tires. Now the question is, will they maintain things, or will this state of affairs stay until the end of at least the middle of the race, or not? Here we go, start lap 4, Boissu jumps one over Hornbald, but he gets a run over by Sa again on that push. Not much of a change up front. Bilyeu is up ahead of everybody else, but he's already down at 60% on his tires. No sign of anything about his engines yet. We might have made an error early there. Should have probably given Voisu a bit more of a fix with his acceleration issues. Now Perez gets jumped over by Sa. Tails all his time there as we approach lap 5. El Sadat seeing some pretty good starts here compared to last season, but he's already down at 54% on his tires, and we haven't even gone through much of lap 5. New buddies, Takabayashi and Schober, not looking too bad either, but they're definitely going to have some issues later on if their tire wear is like this. And Perez is just about ready to be overtaken once again by Voisu this time, though. She's at least keeping things hot there. Fortunately, though, because of how things started out early here, it looks like we're getting distinct groups of racers as we approach lap 6, with the tail end group currently led by Perez, the mid-pack, or rather rear mid-pack, led by Chu, and the lower first half, or the lower end of the top half is over here, with Silvera on top, and then there's Bilyeu just ahead of everybody else, but not that far. Ooh, Voisu losing his 17th spot to Hornbald again. Or Hornblood, I mean. Now Hornblood coming for blood here. Just sneaking around at the back of Perez there. Now things are about to get real ugly as we now approach lap 7. We're already seeing some pretty thin tires over there, and it looks like Silvera is forced to get to the pits early. She's now dropped down to 20th as everybody else has gotten ahead of her. Looks like things might be changing for the top leaders as well. Bilyeu is currently at 28%. He's already asking for a pit stop. Fandi, another veteran here from Dragon Race Team China, is currently pushing ahead with his tires, even though they're now at 25. Lalpeclua, surprisingly, is at 44. She managed to keep the tires a bit more durable, even though she's using super softs there. Gansler, another top contender, already down at 38%. And to round out the top 5, there's Takabayashi, one of the new guys, also down to 38. Parts conditions being what they are, I don't think I want to push it a little further, but I guess we can get Voisu up over a bit. Just a bit. We can do that at lap 10. Let's just keep this in endurance mode. Ooh, that's an issue. Bilyeu seems to have some parts problems going along with his drive because he's been pushing a little too much. Now Perez trying as much as possible to keep Hornblood out while we have a lot more repair issues here. Takabayashi seems to be having some tire tire problems. Inuna looks like she's got parts problems everywhere. So much for pushing ahead, huh? Now we're approaching lap 8 with a good part of the grid already out of pit stop. And now our drivers are jumped ahead a bit nicely. Perez at 11th, Vosu at 14th, but Perez might have to switch out quick. She'll be coming in first by the looks of it. Who's up on top? Well, Baklua is currently on top. But Ganser, who is currently behind her, is looking to change up. El Sadat also seems to be in need of a tire change. Estela, being one of the top contenders, is still pretty decent, even though she's at 32. Keeping that tire conserved. And we got Shobre here, one of the new kids, still rolling up with 37%. Chu, also at 37, but with normal. And we got Griffin here, who's down to 25, could probably switch over. Vidal is still rolling at 8th with a 49% tire line. Garuda Racing probably investing there. Then there's Marsh, who's rounding out the top. There's Sa as well, who's down to 23% on her tires, and she's going in for a pit this one. Marsh is up 37% and could take advantage of all the pit stop lanes coming up next. Let's see if Perez and Vosu can also join in on that overtake run. Okay, that's a bad sign there for Vosu, though. She's now down to 24%. I don't think I want to pit him early. Let's see if we can push him a bit further up. Perez and Vosu jump over to 7th and 11th, respectively, as El Sadat, Griffin, and Sa, along with Ganser, are all pitting in. Not exactly a good sign for this race if they're going to stay like that. Let's see if we can have Vosu pit up early. Who's up on? Who's behind Perez? No, Ramsey at 38. Alright, we'll pit Vosu at the top of lap 10, or the start of lap 10, keep the fuel up. Parts conditions still seem okay. Right. Now let's go for balanced. Perez will have to hold the line from here, unfortunately, as Vosu enters a pit lane. But good pit, but could have been better, unfortunately. Now let's keep him down in neutral. Vosu is now, Perez is now at 5th, but there's going to be a lot of changes in the race soon. Let's see if we can put her around lap 11 instead. Hang on. Esteva, Chu, Vidal, and Marsh are all pitting in, so maybe we'll have Perez pit in as well. Anything we can fix that? No. No, 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 no. None of the parts we have for her can be fixed quite quickly, even with the quick fixes perk installed, so that's a problem. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of heat in your tires soon, buddy. Oof. We missed the 4th lane there, unfortunately. And by the looks of it, Vosu is not going to make it through as well. Perez exits at 10th. Oh, what the hell's Hornblatt doing? He's blocking the way. Gonna have to refuel at the end of the race here. Hornblatt really doing his level best to keep Perez out of the line. Perez could make a bit of a jump here if we're confident, but I'm not that confident. We just started lap 12. A little too early for a push, if you ask me. Ooh, good block there from Ramsey as he exits the pit lane on fresh super softs. We still got a good lot of racing to go, but we really need to be conservative here because with 30 laps total and with the performance and reliability of the cars on a bit of a question mark, the real deal breaker is how we push our pit crew and how to keep our cars in the pit here, or keep our cars on the road. There's Perez trying to get close to Ramsey again. It looks like Ramsey might overtake Billiou for this one. Vosu manages to get past Hornblood. The tire wear is definitely getting a bit of a pain up here. Now, another new kid, Normore, is currently on the lead, but she's hitting up for a pin here. Or a pit here, I mean. Veteran Fondi coming in second, but he's still got a good run on his tires, so he might be able to push ahead here. He did take a pit stop earlier, so that's probably why he's got a chance to get over Lorimore here. Now, can our team get back into this as we start lap 14 on a bit of a hot note? Now, we got ahead of both Hornblood and Esteban on that one. Billiou is still a bit of a distance away from Perez, though, which is a bit of a problem. Because unless we can take over or can get at least close to him... What's going on over there? Whoops. Silveira takes the lead from Fandi, but Ganser is right there. And now we're at lap 15, and things don't look too hot for our drivers right now. Temperature is really bad, I have to admit. It's kind of slow going. Or rather, it drops rather rapidly, so we'll probably have to push Vosu a bit more. Still have the same lineup, just change up front because of the pit people. Question is, can we outpit the others so that we can just get ahead of the race quick? Fondi is the only one who has pitted twice this race so far. That doesn't look too good for his car, because there's a bit of an issue. There's probably an issue with his tire wear there. Now we got over Silveira again, with Perez now jumping to 7th, Vosu at 8th. Ramsey and Billiou still ahead. El Sadat surprisingly up there on 3rd. Might have a turnaround from last season where he had a really bad run all the way to the end there. Ganser, though, still a bit of a problem leading us at with his silver racing car. And there's Chu, currently at 2nd, but he's now down at 36. And then there's Vidal at 70%, one of the fresh drivers out there. Ramsey rounds up the top 4 with a 57% tire. Now, can our team take advantage of their longer runs, though, and take over their spots? Okay, that's neutralize. I love how the AI, because of the, I keep loving when the Mad Libs dialogue shows up and then he complains about not being able to take over his teammate every single time. Here we go. Lap 17. Just a bit more. We might have to switch over our tires soon. Question is, can we keep them long enough for this? Vosu definitely will have to switch up earlier by the looks of it. Mostly because we need him on the, we need him to use the super soft soon so he can use his speed advantage to get ahead of the rest of the CAC. especially now that we're lap 18. But I believe we can still keep him longer, and then we'll have Perez. Probably have Perez pit earlier, and then we'll switch her over to super softs as well. Ooh, looks like who's that pitting for fourth? Bilyu? Oh, Bilyu's already down at 16% on his tires. El Sadat manages to get ahead of him though. Ooh, bit of a fight. El Sadat and Bilyu trying to get one over the other, even though they're teammates. No, they're not. They only look the same from a distance. No, it's just my eyes playing around with them. The colors are actually different. Either way, El Sadat seems to be having a good run so far. Definitely looking like he's gotten away with his bad juju from last season. We'll have to wait and see if it'll stay for the rest of 2024. We're in lap 19. We've still got a good amount of tire wear on our team. So we can probably, ooh. Oh no, that doesn't look too good. I think I spoke too soon. El Sadat seems to be having some parts issues right now. So the question is, can we keep our drivers in for a bit longer so they can just switch over? Ooh. Bilyu got taken over for that one. And Bilyu is now somewhere in the back. 16th place, in fact. Question is, can our drivers take advantage of that further? What? Ay, that's not a good sign. Okay, let's wait until we get to 24th, I think. Or, well, I'll wait until they'll ask for another tire change, and then we'll put Perez through the engine block fix. As now we start lap 20. Keep the tires safe. Perez is still at 29%. Bosu is at 27, so we might have to change things here a bit. Now, what is Gansler going to be changing to, though? Mm, 5, 10 seconds in the parts. 15, do I want to risk it? Now let's just go with the fuel lines. Hopefully we won't need anything else after that. But Perez is now pitting along. Bosu will have to jump ahead of the race of the rest of the team and try to get back in the paint here. Unfortunately, that drops Perez to 8th. And Bosu is now behind Vidal, but he's 6 seconds behind. And Vidal is still pretty good, although it looks like he's about to change tires here. Oh, we have to pit Bosu as well. Bring him back to super softs. Get the fuel up. Parts conditions still seem okay for everybody, but let's rush it. Can Perez get back in the top, though? At least she's still at top 10, but there still are a lot of other drivers up on this. Ooh, El Sadat still has those parts issues there. Looks like he's trying to keep it driving a bit lower to avoid getting some problems there, but he's definitely in a bit of a rundown. As we now approach lap 22, we missed our sponsor objective because we got 4 drivers ahead of us again. And now, Wasu is at 9th, Perez at 7th. Question is, will some of those guys jump back into a pit lane stop or not? Ooh, not a good sign there. Perez is now down at 8th. Or 9th, no, 8th, with Wasu just behind her. Now approaching lap 23, car condition update, not a good sign. We'll probably have to get Perez down as well, just to avoid any other extra issues on that engine, at least until we can get to the final lap, and then we can probably push her a bit further up. Tire condition on Vasu still pretty decent. Dropping temp top is a bit low, thankfully. So he's still good on tire wear and tire temperature. Perez also good on... Ooh. Man, you guys had to tell Molina to get out of the way next time. That was a little too close. Says the one who wants to be competitive. Oh, good lap bonus there for Vidal. Looks like he's going to get some extra points out of this one. And now Vosu is up to 6th, thanks to a pit by, a belly time pit by Lormore there. Now, I don't think any of these other drivers will be pitting for the last 7 laps of the race, unfortunately. But we can at least keep our positions up here in the middle, so that's not going to be too bad. Question is, can we keep it? Can we get back into it? 6 laps to go, and our drivers are still at it. Now we've jumped into 6, and we've got parts issues with Perez now. Can we keep her in the race? I don't think I want to fix it right now. We need those numbers. We're going to be pushing a little further up. El Sadat still in it, but he's definitely going to need some... he's probably going to run into the same issues we had, or we have right now, with parts problems in the way. And Bill Yu seems like he's going to have to pit. Vidal is still pretty decent, and he's trying to keep the tires conserved, so I don't think we can get past him. How's Gansler? Gansler is also pretty decent. He's pushing hard pushing hard pretty badly there. Already at the full attack mode on his tires, and he still has 57% on his tires there, so he can definitely push. With 6 laps to go, make that 5. Oh wait, yeah, we still got 5 as we approach lap 26, but Perez is definitely having some issues here. Now, can she keep it is the question. I don't think she can. Tire wear is starting to get... Vosu still having trouble getting past El Sadat on this one. We just need to time when we can push further so we can get in 3rd. Not quite yet. 4 laps to go. We need you home. We need to push the tires a bit further at least. Looks like Esteva is just stalking there. She's ready to rock. She's got her power up. Tire is conserved though, so if we can block Esteva here with Perez, we have a good chance of keeping our current standings here. But if for some lucky reason El Sadat disappears, we'll be on podium. So that's gonna require some pretty big luck for us. Now we're approaching the last few laps. Ooh, Esteva jumps over there, unfortunately. Now we're now in the last 3 laps of the race. I think this is a good time. No, not yet. Not quite yet. Bill Yu now jumps up into fastest lap, taking one over Vidal. And it looks like El Sadat is pitting at the worst time. Not exactly a good sign there. Could be helpful in getting us back into the podium there. Oof. Ganser is now ahead of everybody. As we approach the last 2 laps of the race. Just a bit more. I'm pushing Vosu up a bit. And keeping the tires down in neutral. No need for that, buddy. No need for that. Just conserve and push it into the limit. Here we go. Oh, Vosu's at second, and Perez is at fourth. If things look good from here, there's a good chance we'll be able to bring this home. Just a bit more. Get that engine rolling. Pretty good start, all things considered. And we're finishing with a podium. Not a bad result, even though we got engine and parts issues all around. We did manage to get lucky there. We didn't get the pole like last time, but I think this is much better with both of our drivers in the top four. Gansler, though, once again asserting Silver Racing's dominance and finishing for first at 10 seconds ahead of Wasu for this one. Not a bad start for Silva, who is currently the dominant team, despite the fact that Garuda Racing, who are demoted from the Asia Pacific Super Cup, probably has a lot more in the parts to take advantage of things. Okay, let's look at what we have here. Oh, Bill you pit at lap 8 by looks of it. But the earliest one to pit is Silveira, who somehow kept a good position even though she went 3 laps, 3 stops throughout the race. Fandi unfortunately suffered 4 stops, hitting the last 3 laps and having some parts issues there. El Sadat also having a really bad stop, just two laps shy of the end. How about our guys? He managed to luck out with Vosu by keeping him in softs for the middle of the race, and then putting him in super softs towards the end to give him the speed boost he needed to jump to second. Perez, despite the engine issues, managed to stay alive with just 2 soft tire changes, and somehow keeping Vidal away. Unfortunately, she couldn't get past Esteva at the end there. If she managed to block Esteva, she might have shared the podium with Vosu, but I think we're happy with this one for now, unless they have parts problems. No problems on our part. Ooh, that's not a good sign. Esteva seems to have had a drive-through penalty, although it's not exactly that big of a points drop for us. Or it did already and count as a penalty, which is why Vosu is up on top. But that's going to be a bit of a mark for her towards the end of the season. We did manage to get our sponsorship target, though I don't think we're going to get a double bonus for that, even though we got both of our drivers ahead. But we're still pretty much on a good spot and a good start. Vosu getting the bronze for this one. Not a bad start, all things considered. Let's see what's on the news. Right. Current championship standings are after the Black Sea leg. Wasu at second with 19 points. Perez at 17, or at fourth with 17 points. It's pretty lucky that nobody suffered any catastrophic failures throughout the race, so no DNFs in the lane tonight. Unfortunately, though, Fondi, the veteran, is once again back in the end with 1 point because of his parts issues. The younger teammate, Takabayashi Soichiro, managed to nurse his car home a bit further and got up to 15th with 6 points, but that's not going to help Dragon Race team get, or rather break out of the lower half for the time being. Lucatelli Racing having a bit of an issue with the old new team they have there. Lalpe Kluva showing her experience by finishing ahead of her teammate. Petra Schober could have made a better showing on her debut here. El Sadat somehow getting a bit lucky, but he's still a bit on lower end of things at 12th. So that's a bit better than the last time he ran through here because he had a DNF in the previous season. Newcomer Anne Lormore jumps ahead of veteran Gabriela Sa, being 8th over Sa's ninth. Bilyu running up to 7th. Good start for the youngster. Ramsey is at 6th. Definitely well within range of the usual top 3, where he's the like one of the top contenders there. New driver Iker Vidal from Garuda Racing making a really strong debut here, although he did have to drop to 5th because of some parts issues towards the end. He is still a bit of a menace, so things might be looking a bit darker for our team now that Garuda Racing were from demoted from the Asia Pacific Super Cup are in the stand, so they might be another block for us in getting somewhere on top. Surprisingly, though, because of the aggregate points we have, we are currently first in team championships, but we're only 1 point ahead of Silva, which isn't exactly a good sign. For some reason, Dragon Race teams ahead of Archer BMR, despite the fact that they're both 7 points, probably because they have a higher standing with the young Japanese driver on their team and in the stops there. Ooh, big fan there. Go Watson. Yay. Hmm. Gazler was definitely pushed those limits during the race, pulling off a number of daring overtaking maneuvers. Definitely, especially with poor cars like we have. Jacob finished 10 seconds behind. Still a bit of a sore spot for me. We could have closed the gap a bit better, but I think when I'm worried about the tire wear, I got a little too conservative, which is why I pushed him a bit too late. Well, a win is a win, though, so that's good enough for me. Let's see what the chairman has to say about that. Wow. Driver morale is still pretty decent, though. Chairman pretty happy, though that did not boost our marketability one bit. We're still at 82%. We did get $159,000 back on that one, though. Not a bad start. Let's hope we can keep this up next time. Ooh, injury. Flu! Driving with a cold sounds like a bad idea. Firebird showing their stuff in the Asia Pacific Super Cup pretty early, but I don't recognize this driver. Johan Sylvander. Oh, look at those stats, though. Who's the other Firebird in this team? Ah, Parker. Veteran driver M. Parker is there. Lower on the standings. 16th. No points up. It's a really rough race up there in the Asia Pacific Super Cup when you only allow the top 8 to get points. Let's go! Yep, as I expected, we only managed to get one leg of the series today. Unfortunately, I have to call it in for the night. But first, let's look at some of the notes we received. We still got something on the development table, so I don't know if I can do anything about that. Ooh, Perez's parts condition dropped significantly, 55% on average. Gotta work on that later. Vosu, just 27, but that's still pretty high considering the setup we gave to him. Right, what does Channel 6 want to know? He was playing around. At least the chairman understood that. I mean, he got a little too excited. This is like one of the few times he managed to get to a podium. You gotta respect the kid. Well, he's not kidding anymore. He's only 31, probably going 32. At least the chairman was not angry about that. I mean, he did score big points for the team, so. But that's definitely going to be a note for next time. Right, 4 pit stops. Our fastest was 4.4. We really need to get better than this. 4.4. Guards crew, no mistakes, thankfully. So that's going to be good for us, but let's hope it stays that way for at least another 3 races. Yeah, same headline. Okay, what's Maxi Zandron? Weakest drivers, but he does have a decent amount of potential. Fortunately, he's not excellent for practice runs because of his poor feedback. Let's see what we got. He's a pessimist, though. Exactly a good sign for us. Look at all these good drivers that we can't scout. Matteo Dellingvist, who is currently unemployed. He got kicked out of Zambelli, the poor guy. Even though he got a podium last season. Too bad marketability is a problem. Too bad he's not a pay driver. I would have signed him up for backup. Well, he can't really do much about that, yeah. Slim race enthusiast, not bad. Wonder Kid overtakes specialist mercenary pay driver. Pay driver, huh? Marketability, that was 16%. She's a Wonder Kid with a good boost of potential. Do I want to sign her up? Stats are. There's a possibility we can boost her to 5 stars. Unfortunately, yep, she wants to jump higher, so we can't get to her. Too bad. April Fawcett was also pretty decent, but she already got signed by Bexback Motorsport. We got Millie Davis, out of shape, fashionista, and Panic Pro. Wait, out of shape? What? Anybody else? Serena Petrie. First lap hero. Rock solid and cold. Oh, because of the cold. Okay. Well, Zungu is skinny. What does that mean? Oh, fitness 1. Elmar Funker wants to be number 1. Wait, no. Stock car champion, boost braking and marketability. Rally champion, boost cornering and marketability. Wants to be number 1 means, that's a problem. Good thing he doesn't have a pay driver situation, because I would have considered him because of these braking and cornering boosts. But because of the number 1 trait, I don't think I can sign him even if I had the chance to do so. I prefer equal drivers. Okay, who do we have next on the scout board? Marsh had good setups there, but because of the lineups on that area, I don't think I can get her either way. Security guard. What else is available for scouting? Axel Dio. Isn't that isn't that the name of a fashion brand? Embezzling. Of course it's embezzling. Maxi Sandro on a pessimist. Ugh. Janjo makes Sabine, security guard. Bruno Cabral, dedicated. Eh. Pay driver, but not exactly something I can take advantage on. Just 1 feedback? Nah. Smoothness is great, so as well as overtaking, but everything else is awful. I don't want to use that. But with a struggler, that's a problem. That's a lot of reds and browns. Ooh, no cornering at all. Nunez, Nadas. Everybody else is still being scouted. Let's line up these guys. Ooh, new drivers out here. Okay, that's everybody available for scouting. How about our pit crew? Pretty decent so far, but I really need to get better pit, a better pit reserve. Currently in development, 5 days out. Don't think there's anything else. Sponsorships, everything seems to be okay, but Ishikawa is about to leave after this one. Now our car is second behind Garuda, fourth behind everybody else on the output of the engines. Low speed corner is still decent. Maybe we'll design a better engine after this one, but for now, I think that will be it for tonight. Thank you so much for dropping by. I really, really appreciate that you dropped in, despite the fact that it was very, very late. Again, I would like to reiterate that this is just a temporary thing as I try to get my off. I call it get my off non-stream related stuff done. Hopefully within the next week or so. That's just a bit more optimistic. Maybe mid-November things will be a bit cleaner. For the time being, I'll be a bit late for everything else. Might have shorter streams because of that. Anyhoot, I think this is still a good start for the new season. Maybe things will get better as we drive on forwards. We can still work on some of these parts later. Um, well, as is the usual, tomorrow will be a no stream day as I try to get my as I try to recharge my batteries and probably get some of the other stuff done. Hopefully that will be helpful enough to get me out of the rut and let me focus on working on the extra stuff I need to do. For tonight, though, if you got any complaints, violent reactions, or other negative stuff you want to drop, I'd really appreciate it if you drop me a line on my Twitter or my Pixiv. If you got a hankering for the older Motorsport Manager streams that have expired here on Twitch, I'd really love it if you check my VOD archive Twitch linked in the About tab of my profile page, and the archive is also viewable on YouTube under the same name, Lurk at Work. Anyway, if you're currently watching the VOD, thanks for staying as far as you are right now. Hopefully, we'll have longer VODs to check out again in the coming weeks. Fingers crossed, it'll be closer. For the time being, we'll be running on some shorter streams or shorter VODs for consumption. Speaking of my profile page, if you've got a friend who might be interested in the stuff I stream or just wants to complain about PNG streamers in general, I'd really love it if you could share my Twitch account, twitch.tv/lurkatwork. That's all from me for now. I think. Nope, I don't think there's anybody who's still available. Double check. Nope, they've all closed their streams out already, which is kind of a shame. So I don't think I have anybody I can forward you over, though I do think Iron Mouse is currently doing a game stream. If you want to head over and get some more exciting streamer action, I suggest you drop over there. For the time being, though, work is RTB. Thanks again for watching. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Again, let me remind you, tomorrow is to be no stream day. I'm gonna post that on Twitter as well, just in case people miss it. Well, I guess that's it for now. Thanks again for watching. Good night, everybody. See y'all when I see y'all. Keep an ear on the socials about any updates that might happen in the near future. Hope that's it for me. Later.